All right, guys, we're here back at it again on Tuesday, and as you see on your computer screen here, this is the class activity from yesterday, so make sure you guys double check. We had to graph fx equals 2x minus 1, but first we had to complete the table, so there's my work right there. And again, you want to plot the points and make sure that you connect them. All right, so let's move on to today. Today, again, is basically day 2. We're still going to be talking about graphing using a table of values, but we're going to get a little bit more into kind of the real-world situations, and then talk a little bit more about graphs specifically. So, like always, if I tell you pause, please pause the video, copy it down. So make sure you're paying very, very close attention for those kind of things. So right here, do we understand a graph? Do I understand what's being graphed, what's actually happening here? So what I want you guys to do is take a minute. All right, so pause the video right here at this moment, and I want you guys to copy the graph. So yes, copy this graph here, and we're gonna take a look at the question, what is the value of f of x when x is equal to 2? So please pause the video right now. All right, so now that you have it, so let's talk about what is the value of fx when x is equal to 2. Now again, it's very important that we remember that f of x here is the same thing as saying y. So what this is asking is basically saying what is the value of y when x is equal to 2. And again, if I take a look at my x-axis over here, we see that 2 is right here. So at 2, what is the y value? If I follow this all the way up here, okay, what is that y value? Well, that y value is also going to be 2. So f of x is equal to 2 when x equals 2. It just kind of happens to be a coincidence there. Okay, so again, that's the way that this works. Do I understand? Can I interpret what's going on in a graph? All right, so let's move on to the second one right here. All right, so what I want you guys to do again, pause the video, try this out, give me your quick answer. Shouldn't take very long, and then resume. All right, so what is the value of f of x? Same thing, they're asking me essentially, what is the value of y? What is the y value when x is equal to 7? Same deal, I have to take a look, where the heck does x equal 7 on my graph here? Well, I go down my x-axis on the horizontal. Here's 7. If I follow it up, okay, let me follow this all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Okay, and I go to check out what is the y value that corresponds to this. Well, this one actually, same thing, happened to be 7 again. So again, f of x, in other words, my y value here is equal to 7 when x is equal to 7. Now, will this always be happening? No, it just kind of so happens for this particular line here. All right, let's move on to the third example here. Now they say, what is the value of f of x? Same thing, what is the value of y essentially when x is equal to 10? So pause the video real quick, answer it, and then resume. Okay, so again, same deal, let's talk about what is the y value. Well, here I am at 10 on my x, that's what I'm worried about. So I go over here to 10 on my x-axis, and I scooch all the way up until I hit that, whoa, what's going on here, right? I gave you one that kind of exits my picture here, but kind of if I understand the pattern here, I know that this is going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and so forth. This pattern actually continues for a straight line. So if I'm here at 9, if I go up 1 over 1, I should end up somewhere up here, right? And if we kind of follow that pattern, we're still at x equals 10, and if I scoot all the way in this direction, okay, it looks like this, yes, this should have been 10. So f of x is equal to 10 when x is equal to 10. All right, so let's move on to now what happens if I give you the question reversed? So let's see what that looks like here. All right, what I want you guys to do is take a few minutes. So again, pause the video right now, and I want you guys to copy the graph so that you have it for the next 3 problems. Okay, so now this is asking me, what is the value of x? So now I'm looking for the value of x when f of x is equal to 4. Okay, remember f of x is the same thing as they're asking me when y is equal to 4. So now I kind of have to tilt my head. I have to look at it in the reverse. Before I was taking a look at the x-axis and following that along. Now I want to know Well, when y is equal to 4, if I'm here on my y-axis and I go to 4, so here I am at 4, where does the line hit? It's actually, if I follow this down, well, the x value right there is going to be -1. So what is the value of x? X is equal to -1 when f of x is equal to 4. And again, all I'm doing now is asking you this question in reverse. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, same deal here. I want you guys to pause it, try this out. So if we resume here, what is the value of x? Same deal. Now I'm looking for the x value. So I want to figure out on my x-axis, what's the answer? When f of x is equal to -4. And again, all this is saying when y is equal to -4 here. All right, so if I go at my y-axis here, let's take a look. Y, -4, it's down here. So again, if I follow along to the right till I hit that line, well, what the heck is the x value at this given point? And if I move all the way up so I can see on the x, okay, that is going to be 3. So what is the value of x? X is going to equal 3 when f of x is equal to -4. And again, if this is confusing the whole f of x, it's the same thing as saying when y is equal to -4. All right, last one here. Same deal, same graph, but now I'm asking you, what is the value of x when f of x is equal to -2? Okay, so I want you guys to pause it, try it out, and then resume when you have your answer. All right, same deal. Now in reverse here, what is the value of x when f of x equals -2? So again, f of x is referring to my y-axis. So let me go down to -2. Now if I scoot over to the line here, okay, I want to figure out what is the x value here when my y value is -2. In this case, it's going to be, looks like it's going to be 2. So x is equal to 2 when f of x is equal to -2. So make sure you guys understand how both of them work. If I ask for y and I give you x, or I ask for x and I give you y, all right, make sure you guys understand the difference. And again, it all falls back on this notation. I think this is the hardest part. F of x is really referring to y. Okay, so let's move on. Now here we have a table of values. Now we're not used to this. We're not used to seeing this because I normally give you all the x's, right? And your job is to find f of x, your y values. But now kind of it's mismatched. So it's appropriate. So again, we have to know where to appropriately plug in. So the very first one, it's what we're used to, x. When x is 3, what is f of x? So I'm going to put here, try this one out. F of 3 is equal to 15 plus 2, and then instead of the x, I'm going to put a 3 here. So again, nothing, this is just notation. This is just saying my input was 3 here. So all I need to simplify is the right-hand side. So I have 15 plus 2 times 3, which is 6. Now 15 plus 6 is going to give me 21. So again, what this is saying is when my input is positive 3, my output is 21. So f of x here is 21. Now this is a little bit weird, so let's move on to the next one here. I'm boxing my work here, so I separate it. So the next one here is now, whoa, they don't give me x. I have to figure out what x is when f of x is equal to 17. And again, this is just basically saying the same thing as y. So where should I plug this in? I'm going to replace the entire f of x, so the entire y value here, with 17. So I put 17 now is equal to 15 plus 2x. And now I'm solving for x. That's what actually I need to find over here. So how the heck do I get rid of 15? I say minus 15. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the other. The 15s cancel out. 17 minus 15 is going to be 2. 2 is equal to, drop down my 2x. All I have to do here is divide both sides by 2. And I get 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 is equal to x. So I figured out my x value right here. When f of x is 17, the appropriate x value is going to be 1. Okay, what I want you guys to do is I want you to pause the video right here, and I want you to try it out for the next two values. Whoop, let me go back here. So I want you guys to try it for the next two values, -2 as your x, and then +9 as your f of x. All right, guys, so there you have it. I finished it off here. So again, when negative x equals -2, again, here is my work for that. I plugged in wherever I saw an x. Now, when f of x was 9, again, I made sure that I plugged it in for the entire f of x. So here we have 9 equals 15 plus 2x. And again, you can follow my work there and make sure you got it correct. All right, so let's move on. What I do want you guys to do is I do want you to copy this inside of your notes. So yes, please, please, please take a minute. Copy that down so you know where it is coming from. All right, guys, for this problem, it says a cruise ship is currently 5 kilometers away from its port and is traveling away from the port at 10 kilometers per hour. Create a table of values for the situation. So this is my instructions here. I have to make sure that I create a table of values. Whoops, let me go back. Pen. So here are my instructions. I have to create a table of values for the situation. I have to graph the function. So essentially kind of what we did yesterday. And I want to make sure that I answer this last final question here, which I'll highlight in blue. How far will the cruise ship be from its port in 2.5 hours from now? All right, so what I want to do first is I want to make sure that I can summarize all of this in a single function, a single equation here. So again, it's always nice to start off with f of x, function notation here. Okay, is equal to, well, they tell me that the cruise ship is 5 kilometers away when I first start this problem. So I'm going to start off with 5 here. And then it says, and is traveling away from the port at 10 kilometers per hour. So again, in addition to this, it's moving away at 10 kilometers per hour. Now, keyword here is the per hour part. So I'm going to say plus the 10x. Okay, so again, I have to create a function here before I can even graph it. Now, I want to make sure that I create a table of values. That's what they're asking here, the very first thing. So I'm going to have x, and then I'm going to draw my line here, and I'm going to do f of x. Same thing, right? X, y table. All right, so now again, what I have to do is I want to make sure that I come up with the x values here. And none of them can be negative. I can't have, again, this represents hours. I can't have negative hours. 0, 1, 2. Let's go as far as 3. Now again, you guys know how to fill in this table, right? You take 0 and you plug it in. So I'm going to have 5 plus 10 times 0. That is 10 times 0 is 0. 5 plus 0 is simply 5, and that's going to go right there. And I move on to 1, so 5 plus 10 times 1. Now again, 10 times 1 is 10. 5 plus 10 is going to give me 15. Okay, now I tried 2. 5 plus 10 times 2 this time. That's going to give me 20. So 20 plus 5 is going to be 25. All right. And now the last part here, we have 5 plus 10 times 3. Okay, that is going to be 30. And then 30 plus 5 is going to be 35. Okay, so I've created my table of values. Now I want to make sure that I can graph this. And again, it's very important that we label our x and y axis. So notice my x's, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth, right? But what about the y values over here? They're going up by 5, so I might want to go up by 5s, not by 1s. All right, so I'm pause the video here. I'm going to fix my table up real quick. All right, guys, so here's my coordinate plane, and again, I had to work on the spacing a little bit. What I want to do now is go back in and make sure I plot. So 0, 5. So I stay at 0, and I'm going to go all the way up to 5. 1, 15. I stay at 15. Stay at 1, and I go all the way up to 15. Now 2, I'm going to go all the way up to 25 here. Okay. At 3, I'm going to go simply all the way up to 35. And again, we start seeing that, yes, this does have a shape to it. This is going to be a line. Now again, as straight as possible. It's kind of hard on this. Here we go. As straight as possible. Okay, so again, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but we basically get it here. All right, the last thing I have to answer is how far will the cruise ship be from its port at 2.5 hours? Okay, so what I'm going to do, since I'm running out of time, I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to kind of truncate my videos into 2 of them. So make sure that you select the next video, and I'll pick up exactly where I left off, answering the last question. How far will the cruise ship be from its port in 2.5 hours?